Hey friends, I'm Jamie Maddox, your Wealth Embodiment Mentor. I teach how you are uniquely designed to attract wealth. In this podcast, I talk about body mapping and money. Body mapping is a unique map on your body that gives information, instructions, and direction for you specifically. Each episode, I highlight one area of the body, discuss its features, and more importantly, what that means for you and your money. So welcome. I'm excited to be on this journey together and can't wait to see what your body can teach you about money. Hello and welcome back. Have you guys just been on the edge of your seat waiting for the second part of eyes? I know. Thank you for being patient. We're going to jump right in so that you get to hear even more about your eyes. Okay, I just said jump right in, but actually I'm going to pause for a second because I was at a family funeral this past week and I wore a green dress, and I love bright colors, and my go-tos are more like orange and peach and yellow. And then occasionally I'll throw in green. But it was interesting because I was talking with one of my sisters, and she had just mentioned that she had been listening to my podcast. And then she looks at me, she's like, "Your eyes are so green. Do you have colored contacts in?" And I was like, "No, but I'm wearing a green dress." And I was like, "How ironic. I am just doing my episodes about the eyes and eye colors." Anyway, she was really excited. So there's my little shout out there. Okay, so here's the second part to your eyes. So I know I share a lot about my own experience because, let's be honest, it's my number one source of information and experiences, right? And number two, by me sharing how unaware I was about a lot of things, I hope you feel like you're in good company and that you learn that you can become aware. Okay. There's hope for all of us. So as I point, because we're going to start talking about the angle of our eyes. And when I first heard this, I was like, I didn't even know eyes had angles. What are you talking about? Okay. That was really my first thought. And then, then I learned about it. And then I was like, oh, I know what we're talking about. So if when I said angle to the eyes and you were like, huh? Again, you're not alone. And you'll probably be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? Okay, so welcome to the club. We are all growing, we are all learning, and we're all becoming more aware. Thank you, and you're welcome. Okay, so when we talk about angle, we are going from the innermost point of your eye, so like where your tear duct is, to the outer corner of your eye. Now, if between those 2 points, it is a level line, that means that you have an almond-shaped eye, okay? People with an almond-shaped eye or angle of an eye, they really like balance and harmony. And they're usually pretty good at finding balance and harmony, especially in their perception, okay? The next angle is the upturned. So again, going from the inner corner of the eye by the tear ducts, if the outer corner is higher than that inner corner, then that is an upward angled eye, okay? Upward angled eyes tend to be very optimistic and very positive. This can be a fabulous thing. It can also sometimes turn on them, okay? I have upturned eyes, okay? Because sometimes we tend to see things more positively than is the reality of it. And so, again, this is where the awareness is beautiful, because when I go into a situation and I'm feeling very positive, number one, I want to. Like, it is one of my gifts and my abilities is to feel positive and hopeful and optimistic, okay? With that being said, I also know at this point in my life that it's good for me to just do a check-in and be like, am I just seeing this a little more positively than it really is? Because I'm done with, crappy situations. So let's just get a reality check, okay? And so it's good for me because I can still be that positive, be uplifting, and remember that I need to do a reality check and see if I'm seeing the situation clearly, okay? Because with our eyes, we want to see if we're seeing the situation clearly. Okay. Right. The next angle is downturned. So again, going from the corner, the inner corner inner corner by the tear ducts and going out to the outer side. If the outer point is lower than the inner point, then those are downturned eyes. Now, these, sometimes people will call them like puppy dog eyes. Okay. These people are the best at like throwing parties and just really making people feel so like comforted. Sometimes people call them comfort corners. So if someone's like, hey, if you need a place to stay, come stay at my house, and they have the downturned eyes, odds are you're going to be really well taken care of. Okay. Because they're just like, oh, let me give you comfort. Let me make sure your needs are met. Just like that puppy dog feel. Like, I'm not even an animal person, but sometimes I'm like, yeah, I just need some like puppy dog love and snuggles, right? And so these people tend to be really, really good with that. And with all of this, there's our natural ability and our natural state, which is what our body is telling us. Then there's programming. So you might be saying, oh, I know people like that and they are terrible with it. So when I see that and there's such a disconnect, for me, it just tells me that they've had some situation, some programming, something that made them probably not feel safe to provide that comfort, to provide that nurturing and that love, right? And same with like the upturned eyes. If I saw someone with upturned eyes and they were super pessimistic, I would just ask, oh, I wonder what happened in their life where they now don't feel like they're able to do that. And then that leads to the ability to heal that. And then when it's healed, they become more in alignment to their divine body, their divine blueprint, who they are meant to be in this world, right? And this goes with every aspect of body mapping, okay? And we're also multifaceted, right? So we are complex people. Okay, let's just be real. We are so complex, okay? And that's beautiful. It means there's so much to discover and find out and learn, right? So take these with our perception, because also with the downturned eyes, sometimes they can tend to be a little more negative, a little more pessimistic. So for them, having a reality check also is a good idea, because they might go in and be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And their reality check is, okay, but is it really that bad? Or maybe it's even a little better and we're going to find a little bit of that balance and harmony, right? Okay, so that is the angle of the eye. So let's talk about shape, which also kind of indicates the depth of the eyes. And because this was really a fascinating one to me, because I had this friend in college and she was so fun. Like, I just loved being around her. I mean, she was just excited and had this joy for life and just exuberant, okay? And she had these eyes that just stood out. And that is the thing with the shape of our eyes. When you have more of a protruding eye, you tend to be a little more lighthearted. You find the joy in life a little bit easier. A lot of these people will notice patterns. It can come across as a little bit of like OCD-ish, but they see a lot because their eyes are out there. They're the first thing on their face that really just stands out. And they usually there's usually a lot of the eye that is showing. Like, if you can see the white of the eye above and below the eyelid, or eyelids, that would definitely indicate a protruding eye. So they see a lot, okay? People that have more of like a deeper set eye, so it's kind of set back in, they tend to be really deep thinkers, okay? They draw from their past and have inner strength and just really deep emotions, okay? They can also be kind of like prove it to me people, because they're like, I've seen a lot. I'm just gonna. They kind of want to do like the really like a lot of verification, right? They're like, is this really worth believing? Am I really seeing what I'm seeing? Okay. People that have like the hooded eyelids, think of a horse. You know how they put blinders on a horse so that it just keeps them moving in one direction? That's kind of like people that have the hooded eyelids. It helps them to keep focused. They can be pretty adventurous because they're somewhat blind to the world around them. And because they're kind of blind, it, kind of makes them have a little bit less fear. Again, good and bad, right? Or not good or bad. It just is. But again, it's that awareness of being like, oh, either I have hooded eyes or so-and-so has hooded eyes. Oh, that helps me understand them better, right? Now, I feel like, people that have kind of more the hooded and even like the deeper set, a lot of times they're really laser focused, right? So even though they don't necessarily always see like the big, broad picture as those with protruding or really open eyes, one of their gifts is that they can be really laser focused. And it usually means that they're going to get what they want because they're so focused. That's all they can see. That's what they're focused on. So it's a fabulous thing. And sometimes it's really good to just step back and honestly, like physically open their eyes, like sit and just like either use your fingers, pull your eyelids open and look around, or just really open your eyes wide and look around and just take even 30 seconds to expand your vision, to expand what you're seeing. Okay. And then on the opposite, for those that have naturally more open or protruding eyes, maybe take a minute or 30 seconds and just kind of close your eyes, just squint them a little bit and see what it feels like to really laser in and focus in on something and see what it does to your perception of where you're at that moment, your perception of a relationship, of a decision, of where you're walking. Okay. Our eyes take in so much and they are so fast at computing information, right? When you hear the statistics, which I don't know them, so I'm not going to share them. But when you hear the statistics, like it's just mind blowing how fast and how quick our eyes work for us, right? Okay, so here's where it comes to the money. What if you have, really deep set eyes and maybe you're wanting to, and they're maybe really closed. And so you're maybe a little bit more focused and a deep thinker about money versus maybe you have a partner or a friend or a business partner that has really open eyes that are like really protruding. And so they're a little bit more like taking it all in, a little more fun. They're just tend to be a little bit more free with how they see things. Okay. Could that cause some conflict? Could it cause the need for extra discussion around money? How are your eyes showing you how you perceive money? Are you very focused on it? Are you really open? Do you think about it? Do you not think about it? Do you look at it with the more positive aspects? Do you see it with this balance and this harmony? Do you see it as more of a negative? And where can you work to find that balance and to bring it into focus and to see the big picture, but still have this laser focus? Okay, do you see how this is all coming together with just your eyes? And this is not even taking into account what we talked about last week with the colors. Okay, so again, this was a lot of information. Go back and re-listen to it. And I always suggest start with yourself, because the more we can understand ourselves, number one, we're more clear, we're more in alignment, and then we actually can see the world and those around us more clearly. So then we can really start to kind of look around and notice some of these other patterns. Notice how these different colors and shapes and angles are showing up in other people, okay? And if you're like, I don't even want to think about looking at other people, I'm just going to look at my eyes for the first time in my life. Do it. Please do it. Go spend some time just looking in the mirror in your eyes, which might feel a little uncomfortable. So start with 15 seconds. Move it up to 30 seconds. Just look at yourself in the eyes in the mirror. And there are millions of benefits for doing this. But even if it's just look at the angle, the shape, the color, the depth, all of that. Really see if you can understand your eyes so that you can understand how you're seeing the world and how you're seeing money. And when you get those ahas, please drop them in the comments or email me or find me on Facebook or any of the socials. I want to hear about how you understanding your eyes is also changing your perception with money, because my friends, it will change your perception and it can only go up from here. So I love you and we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. Make sure to check back each week for the newest content about your body and your wealth. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends and give it a 5-star review. Make sure to visit healinghopewithjamie.com for new offers, retreats, and ways to embody your wealthy life.